Hey friends, welcome to another edition of A Reader and a Cinephile. It is August. How is it August already? I've decided that most of your adult years are spent in disbelief that time keeps marching forward. With the dawn of a new month upon us, I am back with a new set of recommendations based on what I read and watched in July. Last month, I finished 4 books and watched 13 movies. Also, last month, I reached my goal of reading 20 books in 2025. Never in my life have I read so much so fast. Since no one is going to throw a parade in my honor, I thought I would share my pride with you. And I know I've been slacking on my cinematic adventures. Summer will be over soon, and I promise to return to a darkened theater as soon as the bounty, which is summer in the Pacific Northwest, is finished. For this month's book, I am recommending James by Percival Everett. If you don't live every day consuming book talk and booktube videos and you have somehow avoided all the conversation around this book, first, please tell me your secret. And then second, I am honored to be your introduction to this book. For the uninitiated, this novel is the reimagining of the adventures of Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain. Instead of telling the story through the eyes of Huck, this book is told from the perspective of Huckleberry's friend on his travels, Jim, who is an escaped slave. Now, at this point, there has been a mountain of dialogue around this book, and I'm not sure my glowing review will add much value to that discussion. I will add this instead. Beyond a third act that feels a little rushed to me, I absolutely adored this book. It tells a powerful story that flips the script and gives us a Jim who feels like a fully formed person, filled with his own wishes, desires, hopes, and fears. Jim is graced with personhood, something so often missing when we read stories about slavery. As I followed Jim's adventures, I found myself questioning other stories where slavery is present. As many of you know, I began reading William Faulkner this year. This titan of American literature often wrote about slavery. After reading James, I cannot help but wish that the slaves in the 3 Faulkner books I've read this year could receive the same treatment Jim was afforded in Mr. Everett's story. How different the face of American literature might look if every person who wasn't allowed to speak for themselves was given space to do so. For giving me this revolutionary gift of questioning this complicated idea, I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. For my favorite movie of the month, I returned to 2013's The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, directed by and starring Ben Stiller. What can I say? I am a complete sucker for a movie centered on an epic quest. If that adventure centers on someone attempting to find themselves via the open road, I am all in. If you've never crossed paths with this film, it tells the story of Walter Mitty, a timid photo manager for Life magazine. Walter is often caught daydreaming grand adventures and a life much different than his own. When a negative goes missing, the very negative that will become the cover for the final issue of Life, Walter is forced to wake from his dreams and become the most fearless version of himself. Racing across the globe, doing things he never dreamed possible, Walter is reborn. Now, this movie isn't without its faults, but I think it is wildly creative. I think it's really funny, and I think it's heartwarming. But more important than that, I think it is a gentle reminder that we only get one chance at this life. No one on their deathbed talks of how slowly life went by. For all those reasons, I rated this movie 4 out of 5 stars. And those are my recommendations based on everything I read and watched in July. I hope these recommendations are introducing you to new books and movies to check out. I've received a few comments from people thanking me for the recommendations, and honestly, the pleasure is mine. I love when people introduce me to something new, and I consider it an absolute privilege to return the favor. So, until next time, be good to each other.